Colleges, let's talk about it, and let's talk why so many tradespeople have got their knickers in a twist with college people who come out of college and they claim they don't know nothing. Right. So, people who are tradespeople are very upset with apprentices and people that are new college goers that don't know nothing because they're not being taught anything by the people who are in their college lecturing them and giving them the course. I want to say for the record, I'm going to say a few things in this video. Again, they're only things which I've seen and I know what happened. So if people want to argue with these things later down the line, we're going to do it all in the comment section. Just make sure you leave your name and your last name. So your first name and your last name you need to leave in the comment section if you want to be a warrior in this video. Great. A lot of FE colleges which I've been to, when it comes to doing practical lessons, 80 to 90% of the lecturers do not show the students how to do something, whether it's pulling a bend, whether it's doing an offset, or whether it's soldering copper pipe. They don't do it. They read off of the sheet of what is supposed to be done in its steps, right? And then they tell you to do it, because the better you get at doing it, the less they have to show you. I understand that way of teaching, but there is like 7 different ways of teaching. I've learned this myself. So there's ways where I might come into the class and I might do a tutorial, show people how to do it first, then ask them to go away and do it themselves. You try and try and try till you get it right. There are different ways of showing people how to do something or learning tasks which are simple tasks but can be difficult to the beginner learner. With that said, they're not always being shown what they're supposed to be done. Colleges sometimes do not have the type of resources which are necessary. There are so many times that I've been into establishments and they have not got even the right type of ventilation to do soldering in the workshop. I mean, the workshop is not fit for purpose. That's what that says. Health and safety, right? Yeah. Should get shut down, right? Yeah. Are they shut down? No. Are they still operating? Yeah, they still do it now. I know that. Moving on. The turnover when it comes to students having the same lecture is always going to affect students' performance and their confidence, because a lot of the time when they get a certain lecture, they believe in them, they turn up for them, they want to do work for that person. They've built their whole college course on that person helping them from start to finish and obviously being a level of support. When their level of support is removed from them, they turn back to the college and the college says, we're going to get someone new. We don't know who it's going to be. They'll be here on Monday. They've only got to hope and cross their fingers and their toes that is someone who is good. Do you get it? Moving like Tupac, West Side. This is what these kids are doing, or these students are going through when they go to college. I've not always seen a good level of support from all FE colleges when it comes to the students, right? I'll give you a perfect example. I worked in a college in Kent, let's say, that's what area it was in. And when I turned up the first day, the head of the construction college said, oh, you must be, and I'm going to say my name. And she said, I'm blah, blah, blah. But people refer to me as the evil bitch. Sorry? People refer to you as the evil bitch. This lady is well within her 60s, probably in her 70s. Why would you want someone refer to you as a bitch at work or whatever? I mean, we're in a construction environment, but there's no need for the boisterous behaviour. It's a bit OTT. Someone called TSA for this big woman. Do you understand? Because why you feel that's a necessary nickname for the workplace, I don't know. I'm looking at Jesus, I'm sure he don't know. But someone has to find out why this person thinks that it's acceptable. But for me, I already knew that most institutes are difficult, and they're difficult because they prioritize taking young people who have behavior problems, issues at home, into the college, because if they look after those certain individuals, they're worth a lot more money. And that's how I've started to look at college and say, oh, this is a money thing then, isn't it? And when I realised that for myself, I thought to myself, boom, I can't be here no more, because I'm here to be able to give my skills to these people. And it's not about the P's for me. It's not about the money. Yes, I'm here to have a job, but I'm here because when I am able to transfer my skills and give them back to people who need them, I get a sense of well done. And the well done feels like my job has strong purposes. So I was fine with that ethos, having a strong purpose to what I'm doing, making sure that I'm doing what I'm doing, turning up for these people and trying to be like who the person who I've told you earlier is not. The person who is reliable, the person who is going to get them through, the person who is going to be someone for them to be able to be a mentor to, but someone who they can also rely on. When I cover those things, there's always something else within this place, a hurdle, which pops up. Again, it's work, innit? You're going to have problems. Yes, we do. We always have problems. But we don't want to make them reoccurring all the time. You know? And I realised at one point, this was a battle which I ain't going to have enough energy to keep fighting all the time. It's a constant battle. Whether it's with the college, whether it's with the other college, whether it's with them saying that they got no materials. We had no materials. I was teaching at a college in London and we had no materials in the workshop for 7 weeks. 7 weeks having no materials in the workshop. I mean, you can paraphrase a few classes, but you think about how far that puts people back on their portfolio. For what reason? It's not because they don't have money. They had money, but they didn't pay the previous bill. When you start to learn stuff like that and you think, hold on, where is this money going? Who's taking the money for this? Because I'm sure the accountant team made sure they've had a certain amount of money in their kitty for the plumbing supplies. But you'll find those things will pop up and you're like, this doesn't make sense. Of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. And all of these things obviously have a knock-on effect when it comes to someone having their education given to them. Because they'll have no lecture 3 weeks, 4 weeks. They'll have a new lecture. They'll have no materials when they go to the workshop. Let's say they had no materials for, let's be modest, 5 weeks. All in all, they had a disruption of 6 weeks from their course. They already had people who were struggling on the course in the first place because they didn't have the right qualifications to get onto the course, but the college always want to make their courses as packed as possible. So they put as much people on there, even if they haven't got the required grades to be able to get on there. It's true. And these things all happen under the nose of their parents. Most of them have a company anyway at the moment, but if their parents knew they was dealing with all those things at once, they would try to be a little bit more supportive. But again, I understand they're not at a school level, so they're at a level where you should be operating on your own, and there's certain things you can deal with within your parameters, but there are many things which are outside of your parameters. You know, I've heard a few people say that they've done their exams and the college couldn't find their portfolio book, so they had to go back and do it again. I mean, I'd be livid if that ever happened to me. But there's where you see the level of organisation when it comes to colleges and students and making sure that everything's right. It's only going to get even worse, because it is become like it's a business, like I said to you before, but it's just a business which I felt was not moral for me to be in. Not because I was profiting off of it, because it wasn't serving a purpose what I felt it served before, once I found out this is just a cattle grid vibe. I know that I may have learnt in that type of environment, but today I feel that we've got enough resources to be able to support people in the right way, and we can see what doesn't work before from other people, and we've always got time to adjust it, but we do the same thing. We give the same course. We give the same course what ain't been working for years. How about that? Nobody don't say that. Nobody don't say that, why don't we have adjustments to the syllabus, to what we're teaching? Because things have evolved. Like, we've got the basis from like a course which is like, when it comes to plumbing, let's say hypothetically the course was written well within 30 years ago. 30 years, there's so much things what have happened within that one plumbing trade to be able to make that book. Like, if the book was like that, it needs to be like that. Yeah, I get it. People have to stay in college longer, but that ain't nobody's problem, is it? The problem is that we're not getting results from what we're getting originally. And to get results, we've got to do adjustments. People just got to be honest with themselves, man. They're not. They would rather jump on the net and moan about, oh, these kids, and oh, we've got no... Listen, I had to go into colleges to find out that information out myself. And that's lived information. Loads of you lot who hear this for the first time, but I didn't know that. Of course you didn't know that. Because to help the problem, you got to try and participate in it first, innit? I tried to participate and do my bit within teaching to see that if I could do a difference, and the blatant difference, what I know myself, is what we're teaching, that needs to be adjusted. If that don't be adjusted, we're just teaching stuff from way back then. Have we not added stuff on? Do we not do different stuff now? It's just something to think about, innit? I've seen so many people jump online and say, oh, these kids, and it's a seesaw, it's a balance, innit? The establishments have got something to blame from it. School has got a little bit to blame from it as well. So before they touch college, school has always given them information. When they get to college, they have to find it out. That's why it becomes a problem for them, because they start to think, oh, the college is not supporting me because they're not helping me through my course. You're supposed to do your coursework yourself. That's where the shocker kicks in for those people. But if you teach someone something wrong from the beginning, they will just keep going on with that wrong pattern unless you show them something else. I've kind of learnt that. But we all need to think to ourselves, how can we help? Innit? That's what I say to myself. How can I help, to be honest with you? Because I know that we need help more than we need people who are willing to judge and say just mad stuff, innit? Like, because a lot of us do say mad stuff when we get onto a podcast, people get onto something, they start talking, oh, these kids are this, and oh, my day, this, that. Before you do that, ask yourself, what have you done to help? I don't care if you've sent one little apprentice, I don't know, 15 paragraphs on your Instagram. What else have you done? Have you given them your time? Have you given them your 5 minutes? Have you had 5 minutes, said, you know what, send me your number, I'll give you a call? Do you know what that even does for most of those people? That is a big burst of encouragement, confidence. that'll boost your morale. You know, I've spoke to some people who know me online and from some videos, and they said, I can't believe I actually talked to someone like you. I'm like, whoa, slow your roll. Just an ordinary person. Yeah? You could do everything what I can do. Oh yeah, but I really look up to you. Listen, don't idolize any man. That's my thing. If you're subscribed to my type of channel, we don't idolize any man. There's certain people that we know are great, certain people that we know are legends, but we don't idolize people. You understand? That's number one rule. But let's try and move in a right direction while trying to help the younger generation understand what we need to do for them so the trade can keep going. But we definitely do need to look at what we're teaching them, because that's number one. There are so many other things that I could touch on, like behaviour and stuff like that, but I'm going to do a whole nother video about behaviour when it comes to young people, because people want to know stuff. And I've been around a couple of these young kids and shit, I've been surprised a lot of the time. But you're going to be surprised when I start talking about it. That's going to be a whole nother subject. But if you found some type of understanding from these things, what I'm talking about, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to the channel, because we're trying to build. We're trying to help you. We're trying to help others make better decisions, learn from other people's mistakes. Subscribe to the channel. Smash the like button. We want to run the video up. We want to get 1,000 likes on this video. It's not hard. Just press the like. That's all I'm asking you to do. And subscribe. Let's get it.